Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. It's time for another fantastic facsimile edition, the Uncanny X-Men number 140 reprint by Claremont, Byrne, and Austin, featuring Alpha Flight, or half of them anyway. Such a great issue. Cannot wait to share it with you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. Oh my gosh, it's 1980 and the X-Men is at the pinnacle of its popularity. We have just come from the Dark Phoenix saga. We have this great two-issue story featuring a guest appearance by Alpha Flight where Wolverine got his start. Check out so many good things about this cover. The corner box here, the beautiful burn heads, the Marvel masthead, $4.99 for the price of a facsimile. A lot of people say that's expensive for a reprint. However, I think if you bought the original issue, it would cost you a lot more than that. So it's an opportunity for people to get to experience the classic genius of the Claremont Byrne era firsthand on a monthly basis as they've been issuing these monthly. This cover is so great. I love Wendigo. Wolverine's first appearance is tied directly to Wendigo, so this is kind of a full circle moment. I love the action on the cover. I love the cover as an actual scene from the book, or could be a scene from the book. You know, nowadays we have like the movie poster, stand and model kind of covers that, you know, take away from the overall effect of what makes comic books so great. We have this gorgeous title page. By the way, this is the issue that broke the camel's back as far as the strained relationship between John Byrne and Chris Claremont. One of the greatest collaborations in comic book history is also one of the most contentious. This page here, so it's supposed to feature Colossus uprooting a tree stump from the land of, you know, the X Mansion. And with his strength and organic steel, you would think that he would be able to do it with ease, which Byrne kind of was trying to portray. You know, he's not sweating or straining or anything. And then Chris Claremont directly sort of contradicted the picture by saying that he had to use his might and either his chest would burst and heart would burst or he would pull the stump up. And Byrne was just like, I've had it. He doesn't write what I'm drawing and there's just too many disagreements and I'm leaving the book. I swear to Jesus and to God, that is basically what happened. So we would get, what, 4 more issues of them together. This is such a great issue for so many reasons. Let's see. Chris Claremont, writer, John Byrne, plot, pencils, Terry Austin, inker. I think since Alpha Flight is involved that Byrne is doing a lot of the plotting here. Tom Orzechowski, letterer, Glennis Wein, colorist, Louise Jones, editor, and Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief. The coloring is gorgeous. The inking is gorgeous. The letters are perfection. We have Angel guest appearing. He's sort of, I like when the X-Men sort of, you know, the X-Men's like a big family, so I like when not necessarily active team members drop in for cameos or guest appearances. We get to see Storm going to New York City to pick up Kitty from her dance lesson where she left her in the trust of dance instructor Stevie Hunter, another great character from the X-Men mythos. I always loved the way that Byrne and Austin depicted Storm in her civilian identity. She always looked so gorgeous and regal and very fashionable, but still had elements, I feel, that definitely signified that this is Storm. She's being hit on by this guy here. And I'm kind of wondering, like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, is this retroactively racist? Is this like stereotypical, just the way he talks and stuff like this? But then I'm like, but there probably were people who were like this, you know, and there are people who are like this. So, I mean, it's just, in a way, it's just a depiction, right? I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Love the facsimiles because they're direct reprints. You know, some people decry the shiny paper. People always ask how I feel. DC's been doing the matte sort of newsprint, and Marvel's been doing the shiny paper. I have to say, it shows off the crispness. It's a great printing. The colors are how they're supposed to be, garish or not, and I love it. So anything that's going to do the art a little justice is on. I'm going to be on the side of that. I love the old ads. This Saturday morning cartoons. I feel so sorry for people who grow up without Saturday morning cartoons. It was like such a ritual, such a rite of passage, something that always made me happy, and I definitely lived for. Although often I would oversleep and miss like the Super Friends, which was really chapped my ass. Blue Falcon and Dynamite, Space Ghost, the Herculoids. I was so excited to see IDW and other companies reviving these in comic book forms, and I'm way less excited when they decided to make them like super modern and like real superhero takes on it. I don't know, it just sort of took away from some of the charm for me. But they're not bad, that said. We get to see like the great character building here going on. I love the fashion. I love the fringe coat. I love the bell bottoms. I love Stevie's braids. She looks gorgeous. I love Storm driving. Like, I don't know, it just seems so funny to me that, she's like this, basically grew up as a pickpocket in the streets of Cairo, and she's very resourceful, so she should know how to drive, but it's kind of funny at the same time. And then Storm bitching at her for flaunting her powers in public because she's like having this inner monologue over like fighting her jealousy of Stevie Hunter's attention towards Kitty, and Kitty, like being perceptive, immediately calls her out. I love this version of Kitty. Like, she's so wide-eyed and just like fresh and just fun. And then we catch up with the other part of the team who are in Canada. Wolverine's trying to clear the air with Canada. He left on bad terms. He was their secret weapon X as part of Department H. They basically gave him his powers. He was supposed to work for them, and then he fled and joined the X-Men. And so now he's coming to sort of do right by them. And Alpha Flight is investigating some mysterious murders at the hands of Wendigo, who's like this cannibalistic, mythical northern creature who cannot stop saying his name over and over again. Classic Nightcrawler. I just love the versions of this character. I love how he's like picking him up like a doll just to show like the sheer size difference. And, Claremont's writing is definitely so verbose. You definitely, it's come up recently over like binging or reading this X-Men run all at once, and that is something I could not recommend less. I think you almost needed that monthly breather in between, because when you start reading it all at once, not only are you like overwhelmed by the sheer amount of words that Claremont puts in, it is good. It is so good. It really shaped comic books. It is characterization and things like you would not believe, but it's very flowery and very, like self-serving at times. I love this here. Like, this is such a great, I mean, and this is sort of the dance between Claremont and Byrne here. Byrne's giving 110% visual information that you need, yet Claremont still feels the need to fill almost every inch of the panel with his verbiage, and it's kind of crazy. But that said, I mean, classic run, favorite of all time, hands down, no comparison. And can we talk about, also what struck me reading this is how in tune Byrne or Claremont really was with Alpha Flight. I thought he did such a great job writing them. He's planting the seeds for some great things. Like, we get the fact that Vindicator, like, created this battle suit and donned it mostly by necessity. He's actually kind of scared to go in battle. He makes reference to being afraid of how, not knowing how large Wendigo was and how it's kind of terrifying him. So it leads up to his ultimate demise in the pages of Alpha Flight. It's interesting because this is like 1980, and I think Alpha Flight got their series in like 83 or 84. So it's a couple of years, and I don't know where they went after this, but they do announce the dissolution of Department H. It's funny because everyone always says how Hugh Jackman is like so wrong as Wolverine, and the fact that like he's supposed to be this ugly, feral little fucker. And seeing this flashback of like younger Wolverine, I can't help but think he looks kind of handsome. So I don't know. Who doesn't love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, though, right? Right or wrong, nothing has to be completely set in stone. And just a word on like, look at the beautiful texture that Austin is always putting in the backgrounds and like the minutia of detail, like the it just feels like the X-Men just takes you everywhere. You know what I mean? We're out in the middle of the Canadian wild and they're battling Wendigo in this beautiful purple lake and sky behind. Glynis Swain just had such great instinct for coloring all this. It is so beautiful. I love like the little texture in the background here that Ed Piskor would famously refer to as screen door hatching. That was definitely picked up by Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld and Art Adams and all these guys who definitely were influenced by Byrne, who was influenced by Mick Golden, who was influenced by Neil Adams, and just the influence keeps going and going, and it's so much goodness. It's funny because Wolverine. I think that now that I'm like more conscious of it, I think I pick up on it more, like the disparity between the pictures and the words. Like Wolverine is thinking an awful lot of stuff here, and it's weird because he's sort of like saying like, "Oh, the cavalry won't get here in time, so I should definitely fight Wendigo," and that didn't make any sense to me. Like he's a fighter, he's feral, he's just gonna fight him without thinking about it for a half hour first. I don't know. That's just my little take. Look at all this Austin goodness. He's just always knows exactly the right, like, kind of line weight and beautiful texture to bring. Like the rocks, the trees, the forest always looks so good. The brown and orange costume is new to the scene here. And my first Wolverine costume, really, when I started reading the book, and always my favorite. I think it looks so good and so great. Like I said, classic Nightcrawler just looks so good. Once again, I love how he's picking Wolverine up, kind of like a toy here. It's just so much fun. And the face on Wendigo here is just so great. Almost Hulk-like in a way, but definitely like a Kirby monster. Like Kirby is such an influence on Byrne as well. Speaking of influences, subscribe. Amazing 4 for 3 subscription offer. Could you imagine? You used to be able to have comic books mailed to your house directly from Marvel. I don't know why they don't do subscriptions still, especially with direct to consumer, Amazon. Like, it just makes absolutely no sense. The one thing that was weird, like really way back far in the day, and I feel like they fixed it, is they used to fold the freaking comic in half. So it's already like so decreased in value by the time you're getting it. This looks like a classic shot here. You talk about like stock poses or tropes of certain artists, and this is a definitely, like Guardian Vindicator shot. I see this in the double page spread from Alpha Flight like 27 or 28 or something like that, where they're fighting in the mall. And I don't know if that was conscious or not. It's like Byrne has, his certain Superman poses and his Wolverine poses and things like that. Variations, of course, but I just love it just the same. This is so great here, too. And I love the characterization that Snowbird makes reference to not really caring for Wolverine, even though respecting him as sort of like a good leader. And then through the events of what take place in the book, she winds up like having a different perception of him. And I love that, okay, so Snowbird is like this mythical great like northern goddess who can turn into any like albino white northern version animal, and she turns into a Wolverine here, and it is just so cool, like, because I don't know, it's his namesake. And I love that like it's mostly done in black shadow here, keeping it like kind of mysterious, just the way Wolverine himself is. And then he sort of talks her out of her own berserker rage, because who else could do it and relate more than Wolverine. And this is just the stuff that makes the Claremont Byrne Austin era just like so amazing. So many great beautiful panels. I was just so stoked and excited to read this and just enjoyed the hell out of it. I love how classic and beautiful the superhero art is, and this is John Byrne just got put into the Harvey Hall of Fame with comic book creators alongside Wendy and Richard Pini. It was like such a great thing. So well deserved. One of the most iconic, artists, comic artists of our time. But I love how everything's so perfect and superhero and just like really about the storytelling and giving us this action-packed thing. But then you get like artistic moments here, like with this sunset, and it's just so gorgeous. I love the transitions that they draw that can only happen in comic books where you're seeing like the Wendigo become the man in real time. Um, I do have to say I love some of the dialogue here because it's while there was contention and ire between Byrne and Claremont, sometimes it just fits so perfectly. Nightcrawler's like, perhaps, but I ain't finished yet, bub. And Wolverine's just like so rude and like so succinct and just like so amazing, and I love it. And he could still smoke here because Marvel got rid of smoking, I think, in the 90s or the early 2000s, whenever. No notable names really that I can see here in the letters page. I always kind of like look for that because oftentimes you'll see future creators or current creators sometimes sounding up. Love the inclusion of the Prime Minister of Canada who casually just says, thanks for everything. Sorry about the trouble with Wolverine. None of it mattered anyway. Department H is being folded. We can't afford superheroes. But we figure you guys will carry on and hopefully do a good job and not embarrass us. Gee, thanks. Cheers. And just little details like the single flower on his secretary's desk. I don't know. I just love it. And then we have like the prelude to the Days of Future Past, one of the most iconic stories in X-Men history. Talk about practically going out with a bang. I mean, we're getting near the end of the Byrne Austin run. I feel like the reprints are going to stop. Like, I don't know if we'll continue into the Dave Cockrum era. I hope we do. I really love that they've been doing these single issues, and I've been enjoying the hell out of it. This is such an iconic logo ad, like Lego ad. This is like burned forever in my brain. If you were a child from this era, you know this so well. And it also, like, the nostalgia of it all is part of the fun of these facsimiles as well. I love these facsimiles so much. My John Byrne fever will never end. I am so looking forward to his X-Men Elsewhere coming up soon. And I will bring you more and more Byrne. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I will bring you more soon.